Hello, 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 everyone, all Susu Nation. Welcome to episode 8. Today we will be reviewing game 4, aka the debacle. But before we get to the details, we've got the lads, the coach, George, thank you for joining us. We've got birthday boy Blue, our historian, our community manager, our brainsmith, the man that wears many hats. Boys, before we get into this unfortunate series of events that happened this weekend on the road, how are we doing, Coach? Welcome to episode 8.
I'm good. I'm good. How am I doing? Is that a Futera wise or is that life wise? What's the question?
Well,
How do you want,
Futera
how
is
do you want me to
life, right?
answer?
Futera is life. But for coaching wise, how are the games this weekend? How are the games for you? Before we hop over to Blue, see how birthday boy's doing.
Yeah, it was right. I didn't have any competitive games. We've got a playoff game Tuesday for my men's team, which is a big one. I had training last night, and then I was in Africa. I did a bit of coaching with a few setups out there, which was really nice. And then my other team, we've got a big game against top of the league on Saturday. So it's all fun times going forwards.
Big boy
Lovely to hear.
business.
We love to hear that.
Yeah.
And it looked like a lovely piece of Africa. I'd never heard of this part of the world before. Sounds like it was a nice little holiday as well.
It was right. Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. Bit of
Cool.
relaxing, bit of working. Can't complain. Good mixture.
Great, great. Birthday boy, how we doing over there?
Yeah, all good, mate. Just been chilling. It's impressive to see you going over there to Cape Verde doing a bit of training and all that, George, coaching. Good
Yeah,
to see that people are actually you're getting hired to do these bits and pieces. Impressive.
that's nice. Try and give back when I
Yeah,
can.
everything's all good, my end, mate. Just been chilling. Some family coming over this weekend, and yeah, just been making the most of the spring weather over in the UK. The rare good spring weather.
Well,
How's
I'm
everything over in Greece?
things are good. Things are good. Enjoying it. Different culture over here. I've never seen so many coffee shops in my entire life. I appreciate the mentality of the people just to sit down, have a drink,
Chill.
talk to your friends. Time doesn't matter. Waiters and waitresses aren't trying to overturn the tables. It's
Yep.
a very different mentality than we have back in the States, and I think one that would be really healthy for some Americans to experience and adopt into their life. So, yeah, I'm grateful for the opportunity. Not all fun and games, right? I got to work, in real life calls, but certainly grateful for the opportunity. All right, so let's turn the page here. George, you were talking about coaching earlier. I think a little coaching needs to be done on the squad. For the results that haven't seen it, Futera went on the road. We're down 1-0 at halftime. We had a little halftime show talking about how we were not on the front foot, had concerns with Jew. That played itself out in a very ugly way right before the 60th minute. We got some details from Mark from the coach's mentality. We will be talking a little bit about that. But before we jump into it, George, initial reactions about the 4-0 defeat on the road.
I try not to be too negative, but I think some of you may be aware if you've watched the podcast from the start of the season, this isn't a surprise for me. Um, and I think I tried to make it very clear that I could see it coming. I said in the pre-game predictions, if we stick with him for a 1-1 draw, and now that looks pretty too positive. Um, I tried to ask questions, tried to be sort of like, what's the plan? We're working on training. The formation isn't going to work. All this, but I think everyone sort of took it as me moaning. But I think this is sort of what I, as a coach, sort of coached at different sort of skill sets, and I'm sort of quite good at seeing what people don't see and sort of seeing situations before they happen, which is annoying because it normally means in hindsight I'm right, but not in the moment. So I think I'm not surprised. I'm disappointed, but hopefully it's a learning curve that we can take forwards and build from.
Blue.
I don't think people think funny, mate. I know it's just we banter you back because now that's like your message is just a banter that comes back on the Discord. Like people don't
Yeah,
mind, people don't find it as moaning or as a pain of any sort. It's actually interesting and has opened up another level of discussion in the Discord that we didn't previously have. It was very much more 2D before. Now we're having much more 3D discussions about tactics and about coaching and about all the rest of it in there. So it's everybody finds it positive, not negative.
Yes. Yeah, I don't want to come across as jumping in and
No,
trying
no,
to.
you're not.
Yeah.
This is real. This is real life. This is football. We have to analyze and break it down as fans. We can't we don't work for the club. Although we will protect the club, ultimately we're fans and we want the club to be as good as it can be, or be the club players to be better than what they are at the moment.
Yeah.
So that's all we're doing, is we're just striving for the best that we can do. All this stuff,
100%.
the tactics and that is it's very important. It's something which originally we were told that tactics in Thailand was a misnomer. You know, it's very much team play and 4-4-2. Well, that's not necessarily the case, and it's not what we want either. We're going to be teaching these players how to play in different formations. It might take us years. It might take absolute years, but that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, and I think that's well said from both of you. From a perspective of someone that knows absolutely nothing about tactics, I appreciate the banter because it forces at least the club to think about the decisions they're making. And for someone like me who knows nothing, it's incredibly interesting, right? Because I'm trying to make parallels to other sports, and I certainly appreciate that. And I want to say, based upon the feedback of your comments, George, and other people at the club, you know, they're at least considering it. They're being forced to acknowledge it, and that's healthy in itself. All right, so that was our quick little topic right there about our quick review of the game. We are going to get into the details, but before we do that, like every week, we will do our quick hitters, things around the club for this past week that, you know, we want the Susu Nation to know about. I'll go first here, and then we'll pass it over to you, George. For me, I'd like to acknowledge the Futera U18 Cup started. That was pretty cool to see, an initiative from the club to bring the U18 of three other teams around the Bangkok region. Unfortunately, we lost that game. We had a 1-0 lead going into, I believe, the 80th minute. They had scored 2 headers from the same exact part of the pitch, corners. Their captain put it away. They celebrated like they won the World Cup. But I personally love to see the passion from the opposing team. We had Beam. We had 4 players on the Futera United actual senior club play in that. C Game was captaining it. Unfortunately, they couldn't get the win, but they do have 2 more games to go, next one being this Saturday. Also of note, for things I want folks to know about, the podcast is in communications with club legend Gail Basana. We don't have a date, we don't have a time, but he has agreed to come on the pod. So please go ahead, throw your questions in the comments here. You can hit us up, of course, in the Discord. You'll see on the ticker all of our socials. Please don't hit me up on X. I am a Farcaster guy. But for the other 2 lads, you can reach them there. We would love you to funnel our questions. Gail, I made a personal chant for you, and I can't wait to sing to you, and that'll be quite fun. All right. George, anything of note from the club you found interesting, relevant, rumors, anything before we turn the page and actually review the debacle?
I think that lots of the videos from Mark after were very good, and the discussions I thought were really, really good. But I think we'll probably get into that in the review. Yes.
Cool. Blue, for you?
Well, mate, my head is just full of everything that's been going on in Discord and just all the different discussions. It's been the club have been really brave in coming out and giving us a lot of information, a lot of it which we won't pass on because in the manager's office. Some tactical decisions, changes that we're going to make or thinking of making. I think George is preparing a PowerPoint for the club with some tactics and some different coaching methods on there as well. So we've got a lot of interaction and hopefully maybe a little bit more change as well in terms of just our communication with the coaches and the manager and what we can get out of it, basically. We have to take a responsibility in this as well. We vote for players to come in and we vote for this, that and the other. We ask for various pieces. So it's it's an amalgamation of everybody, and we need to really sort of work our way through the different ideas, different theories, different problems, different issues that we found before we can find a solution.
Well said. Well said. All right. So, little housekeeping before we get into the game review. Like always, at the end of this, at the review, we will review the standings for Futera. We'll look around the fixtures of what the other clubs' results are. Heads up, a little bit dodgy for us, like that UK word there, a little dodgy for us about how us have the ability to actually win the league. And then we will do everyone's favorite segments, though, blue balls and coach's corner before we wrap up. All right, gentlemen, I've got on the screen here a write-up from our own Tim Jackson on the mic. He's also a prolific writer. He has some strong words, and it starts with a bitterly disappointing performance. I think that sums it up correctly. I mean, brutal. Even at 1-0 down at half, it looked like we had some chances. I would like to start the conversation around Ju's performance. For those that are newer to the Futera club, Ju is a club legend. You could say not as big as Gale, because Gale is the club legend. He has his own even Discord emoji, which is a mark of a legend. But he's been around. He's been a captain. He's won a lot of big games for us. He's been with us from the start. There was a vote, like Blue had mentioned, a vote for who we would start. It was voted that he would be at midfield. Unfortunately, about 15 minutes in or 10 minutes in, he was moved to center back because his fitness was off, and then the wheels continued to fall off from there. Which one of you would like to have first comments on Ju's performance? And what I specifically would like to top into is it was acknowledged in the Discord that he looked off. The coaches did move him because he was off at the request of Ju. However, unfortunately, in the 55th minute, he got a red card, which basically game, set, match. Please, one of you, initial thoughts on the Ju performance. We're not crushing the guy because he's a legend. Blue, you up first.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that he looked both physically and mentally out of sorts, and we could see it from the start. Definitely some fitness issues with him at the moment, because the club said that really are only comfortable with him playing midfield for 60, 70 minutes. I'm not quite sure why that is, but yeah, he was just out of sorts from the start. He was making a lot of mistakes, and he was just not moving. He was just lethargic, I think is the best word for it. And then everything that he's doing was just not coming off, not working. And we got a bit sort of despondent in Discord, and we could see that tragedy was about to happen, basically. So we asked for him to be taken off in the first half. What ended up happening was, at his request, as you said, at the coach's request, it ended up changing position to a position he's very familiar with. But in my opinion, when we put him at centre back, it just meant that those mistakes that he was making would be more devastating to the team. If you make a mistake in midfield, you've got a chance for people to recover. If you make a mistake at centre back, there's nobody to recover that mistake. And that's basically partly what ended up happening. So as a player, as a captain, you're going to want to carry on playing. Even as a kid playing football, you don't want to get taken off the pitch. So I can understand from his point of view that he's going to argue to stay on as much as possible. But this is where the coaches have to step up and basically overrule and take, if there is any heat from the player for taking them off, then so be it. It's part and parcel of it. So yeah, I think the coaches should have listened to us, but I think that this could be a Thai culture thing where they don't want to embarrass a player. They don't want to, if a player says that they're good enough to go, then you trust their decision, you trust their opinion. So I don't know, it's a difficult one to see from their side necessarily, although they did give us some feedback on and just what they'd heard from the player. But from us sitting back here, it looked like, it was one of those slow motion traffic collisions where you could see it coming from a distance, as George said, or he got it from even further away in terms of tactics and that kind of thing. But yeah, it just looked mentally out of sorts, I think, is the most important thing, because even if physically he wasn't quite there, that's one thing, but mentally he was just not the Jew that we know, not the fighter that we know.
Well, you mentioned the heat from the Discord and seeing it coming. There was also the heat on the pitch, 38 degrees Celsius, and for us Fahrenheit folks, that's warm as hell. George, what are your any reaction from what Blue said, and just the overall? Because his red card came from a free kick with us with the ball. Isn't that goofy? What are your thoughts?
I think yeah, Blue's spot on, but I think for me, it's like we talk about top culture a lot, and I think there needs to be an open discussion again on that, on what is acceptable, what isn't acceptable, because it's at the end of the day, the coaches are the ones in charge. If the coaches are being led and swayed by players, I see it a few times where we'll say we spoke to the players and they this and this, and it's like at the end of the day, it should be the coach's say. It shouldn't be Drew said I'm fine and plays. It should be no, you're not fine, you're not starting, you're off, sort of thing. I think if anyone wants to go and watch what we're talking about, go to the 20th minute, about 20 minutes and 7 seconds, and it sums up Drew's performance. And watching it there, I think that's when it was in the Discord. It was like he has to come off because he's poor touch. Defender's got it, and he's so sluggish to recover. And I think it needs to be the fact that he lasted to the 60th minute baffles me, because that could have been a moment where the coaches have gone, you know what, 30 minutes in, we're taking Drew off, we're making a statement. Every single player there knows Jesus. Like, if I'm not on it, I'm getting taken off early doors, no matter what. But the fact that he then carried on, and then I think it was the 46th minute, he's gone down injured in the second half. Like, if I'm a player, I'm looking around thinking, well, like, I can do what I want. I'm not getting taken off. Like, Drew is setting the example as a captain. Like, if you're not fit, you need to tell the manager you're not fit. If you're not performing, it's a swallow the pride and say, you know what, I'm not on today. Take me off for the good of the team. It's not we're not tennis running players. This is a team sport. He at the end of the day has cost us this result. Like in the Discord, I think what 5, 6 people said he has to come off. It's not working, and the coaching either chose to ignore us, or they weren't told and couldn't see it. And the fact they couldn't see it is a more worrying thing for me, because it's for okay, not to be horrible, but for amateurs on the Discord to notice it and something, and a coach who is meant to be coaching a team to not notice it, that worries me, because it
I
said
think that,
like
sorry, George, go ahead.
I think said we've asked so many times, can we see training? Can we know what they're doing at training? Can we see it? And they're very cloaks and daggers to say of we're not allowed that part to see it. And it's sort of like, well, why can't we? We had 3 weeks off. What we said we want to work on not diving in. One of the goals came from 4 players diving in before the goal. We wanted to
Yeah.
work on shape. That hasn't worked on. Can we work on fitness? That hasn't worked on. So I think from my point of view, it's the discussion needs to be now. What is happening? Can we be more involved? But like, I fully understand as a coach, you don't want to be told what to do, but
Yeah,
that is the project that he's brought into. If he
yeah,
cannot handle the
exactly.
project, then maybe it's say, look, this isn't for me. Bring someone else in that maybe is able to do that. That's yeah. It's a long rant, and yeah, but that's my frustration
I
and
know.
annoyance.
I mean, I think what happened for me is it's almost like, as we said with the 60th minute thing, is they had a plan before the game and they stuck to it no matter what. And
Yeah,
it's that flexibility. It's that sort of, okay, you had a plan before the game, but as they say, it was in war, in boxing. At the first punch, it's all plans go out the game. It's just you from that point on, you need to adapt to what's happening on the pitch rather than saying, right, we had a plan before the game, we're going to stick to that no matter what. So I think it's that adaptability. But
yeah,
the
100%.
like you were saying with us asking to have him subbed off, they should have listened to us, and that's something in the past they would have done. And I think basically it's just one of those you get used to over time. Maybe us not asking for it, so they haven't needed to. This is almost like a wake up call for us all. It's a wake up call for the coaches and that to take a bit more notice of what we're saying. It's a wake up call for us to maybe be a bit more vocal and get involved with stuff a bit more. It's not about demanding that the club do this, that, or the other. It's just about saying, look, we want to actually understand what's coming, what's happening, where
Yeah,
everybody's coming from. And if we can see bits of training, we can understand what's going on,
yeah,
then that helps us just because you find And I found this recently with a separate issue, that if you are absolutely bewildered by the situation, you just get angrier and angrier. As well, if you can see what's going on, even if there's nothing you can do to change it, even if you know about it, you can go, okay, that's happened. There's nothing I can do to change it, but that's what's happened, and then okay, we can work on this. No point in me getting angry about that anymore. And I think it's that.
Carry on.
It's just that level of information and information exchange between us and the coaches and the club that will help everybody, I think, move forward.
We buy into the club because that is the project. Like, I'm buying into any other club where I can sit and watch. Like, the reason I'm investing in is because we can talk about the game, we can make changes, we can vote, we can do things. But it felt like this game and previous games, it's sort of been the 90 minutes, sort of just watch it, enjoy it, then we'll talk about it. Whereas it's like,
and that's not what it used to be. It used to be much more. I mean, at one point, we were even going to have a Discord room, which only the mods, if you like, the moderators or the Mark, me, the referees, that kind of stuff. The average person wouldn't be allowed to post it in there. But the idea was that the coach would simply be in that room, and we would relay information from the manager's office into this other private room for the coaches to look at, kind of thing. So I'm not saying that that's what we should do, but we need to do something moving forward to get the communication in game between us and the coaches as sharp as it used to be. Raya used to be the guy. Ray's not with us anymore. He's back in the Netherlands. I think he used to be the guy that was actually sitting on a bench relaying that information. So really, that key is what we need. We need to get that link between us and the coaches in game again.
It's all like, I feel bad for Mark because it's sort of like he gets the flack at the end of the day, and it's like, why hasn't Breeze? Why hasn't Breeze come out and done a video after the game? Why hasn't there been a post-match like interview or a post-match comment from the from the coach? Like, that's language where it should be like. But we have like Google Translate. We can video it and translate it, sort of thing. Right. Get a transcript of what he said, and it just feels like he hide behind Mark a little bit. And it's like Mark gets all of it. Like, I'm meshing like Mark. It's like it's the only way I can talk to someone. Like, I think there needs to be more bodies, like not just Mark getting all the abuse.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously it's not. We're not. When you say that, you're not meaning abuse. You're just meaning
no. Like, sorry,
Mark,
English.
You can see how emotional Mark was at the end of the game, and I mean, those videos are one of the things that I think helped calm us down a little bit, because you can see how much it's marking other people.
When I say abuse, I mean criticism. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I do this all the time. I think it's part of British language. But anyway, it's not Mark's fault. Mark is more invested, both emotionally and financially, than any of the rest of us put together. So, it's like you said. I do think that the thing is, Den is our overall manager, and Breeze is our head coach. So I actually think that in this case, Den should have overruled Breeze. Basically, Breeze is Den's protege, and Den is overseeing the entire PSW, Futera. Like, he manages all of the under-16s, the under-6s, all the way up, because he's an ex-international player. It's also him that's one of the draws for players to actually come to our club. I think in this circumstance, he should have said, with my experience, Breeze, I can see what you're trying to do, but this needs to happen, rather than letting it play out, letting him make his own mistakes, which is a valid way of teaching somebody, but I don't think not in this circumstance.
This comes back to, again, what I said in the Discord so early on, and I got frustrated in the moment, because it was like, I could see it, and it was like, we need to change it. But we're winning. It's like, yeah, no, we're winning now, but like, we need to have things to go when we're not winning. And it's, but like, don't change it, it's broke. And it's like, but it's gonna break, and it's broken now, so now it needs to be fixed. It's like, if we tinkered and built on it, it wouldn't have broke. It would have kept maintaining and updating. Whereas it was like, we're winning, it's fine, ignore the issue. And then, oh no, we've got you now it's doom, mate. And it's like, that's like trying to get the point across of like, I can see this, let's update it, let's keep working. And it was like, nah, like,
you need several formations, don't you? You've got to have more than one formation. I know it sounds a bit football managerish, but you do need your 3 formations. You need your your 4-2 or something basic like that you can fall back on. But then you need something else that is more works to your club and team's ability. Whether that be
I think
long
that's where
balls, that be short passing, whatever it might be. But yeah, I
in
100% agree. It has maybe got a little bit stale.
yeah.
All right.
In the
So
PowerPoint, I'm going to try and I'm going to. Oh, go on, sorry about that.
no, go ahead. Well, let's talk about the PowerPoint strategy in the coach's corner. But before we get to that, I think it's great banter. Love Blue coming in. Look at my kitty wants to get in on the action. Blue, great with the history, explaining the roles. For those that understood, referee there is a favorite word of Tim Jackson, but really what it is it's a clarification. It's a role within Discord. It's someone that's doing the mod work. It's someone that is not club tied, right? But they have an invested interest and they have some power to run the Discord better. So what I'd like to get on the screen right now is the club, the team that started. Unfortunately, right, we talked about the 4-0 defeat, but there were 2 new faces back. We got Mbappe over here and then Captain Kuhn. That was great for them to come back, see them back playing, right? The result wasn't there, but it's good to see those players back. There was additional news about the Thai draft. That apparently is, if your name is chosen, that's 2 years worth of commitments and service, 2 years, I believe, to the Thai army. We had 4 players that were up for it, and all 4 were not selected. So great news for the club. You know, hopefully that's what the players wanted. But, you know, selfishly, I'm happy that we're going to have all 4 of them, including, you know, Ian Beale, who is last year arguably player of the year, critical for us. He came back from the broken nose. So a lot of just really familiar faces, and I'm excited about that. So one more topic here before I want to put a bow on this game was we have the new faces back. My question is, do you think this 4-0 result was because of the team we were playing, because of the new faces, or just a lack of whatever? And George, I see you shaking your head, so let's go to you first on your thoughts. Over to Blue. Then once we finish this topic, we'll hop into Coach's Corner. We'll talk a little bit about the PowerPoint presentation, where we're going. Then let's look at the standings and the fixtures coming up to see if we can salvage this season. Over to you, George.
I think I was so excited about Mbappe at the start of the season, seeing him in a couple of friendly games being used, and then I just thought he's out of position. Just watching it, just felt like he was good, but I think he's very much suited to the right back, wing back position. Like, he's a tenacious player, he's hard working, and I just feel the front three, we haven't figured that out as a team yet. And I think it all come like all just came down to the system and individual errors at the end of the day. Like the first goal, um, hate to kill him, but was sort of Drew diving in, got spun, stopped running, keeper saved the rebound, Drew reacted late, put it in the goal. I think it just individual errors, and we just ran out of legs and of sort of a bit of, I don't know if I can swear, a little bit of like, without swearing, what's the word, like get up and
It's
go
your
sort of thing,
podcast.
like
You
a
can
bit of
swear.
like we lacked a bit of like fucking like juice, like, you know, that bit of like, yeah, let's go at them, like this is a big game, let's like be up for it. Like, we didn't look like we were like wanting it.
I mean, it's a
Blue.
chippy start to the game, and you know, involved. But then after that 20 minutes of it being a bit feisty, yeah, just sort of. So, you know, I think, as you said before, Jew going down and his sort of what happened with him did affect the team a lot. But you know, with the new players coming in, I don't think that they were an issue. I think they were a positive. So Mbappe is just he's tenacious, and that's what we need. We need players at the moment that are tenacious. You know, if he was the captain at that point, players see that he was tenacious as he was running himself out of position, as George said, but still working his butt off. Then that's the kind of attitude that we want at the club, you know. So for me, Mbappe is fantastic in that respect. I agree with George. I would say to him, look, I want to see some paint on your boots. Get up and down that wing. You've got the tenacious, you've got the speed and the athleticism up and down, and get back and help out. I want you getting on that line. I want you getting up and down the pitch. I want you getting up. I want you getting down. But I do think with Eek and Mbappe, we've got ready-made wing backs, um, ready to go, and it's just about working everything else out in between that. And when you look at other clubs like what Man United are trying to do, having wing backs, they're having to buy them in. All these clubs are having to buy in these various different players from here, there, and everywhere. We don't need to do that. We've already got them. So, I don't think that what happened was, I think it was a team problem with attitude. And yes, there was some other things there, like Gail was talking about fitness and various other things, but they just sort of, after the second goal, they just seemed to drop off and just carry on falling off and falling off and falling off. There was never, as Jules said, was very much in UK culture. It's you fight till the end, and if you don't, then we've got a big problem with that.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is this is not a you problem. This was not looking at the competition, people around us, the team we are playing against. This was an us problem. We got our sort our ducks. I read that as a positive, right? Because that means that's salvageable. That's something that we can fix. We've got the talent. We just got to get the mentality. Is that fair for both of you? I see you shaking your head.
It's been it's been to structure. It's your formation. It's you can play what they call flexible formation, where you allow your players to move about. But we need structure at the moment. We need our players to be in position to protect other players. I mean, George, this is your area, mate. You tell us what structure in a team is, what it can do for the team, and what it can do if you don't have it.
Blue, I love that transition. And this will be the coach's corner from George. We got the graphic on screen. George, take it away and tell us about the PowerPoint plans going forward.
Yeah, so I'm currently building the PowerPoint presentation to sort of go through what I think works in the 3-5-2. And I think, like Blue said there, spot on. Like, we have the players available. Like, we have two out-and-out wing backs who can do it. We've got Fu and Ninja that are a perfect partnership of Ninja amazing at controlling the ball, holding up, and then getting inside him. Fu is very creative and getting behind very easily. So we've got front is sorted. Then we haven't got sort of Ian Beale and Aon that are great midfielders. You've got Beale that can do the 8 role, and you've got Aon that can do the 10 role. And then we've got C Game, Jew, other players that can then fit into the 10-8 alongside Beale. And then the back three, we've got options. We've got Tuat, Tun, and even Drew can go there if needed, other players as well. And I think the system would suit that player. I mean, that's the PowerPoint I'm going to try and make sure I get it across of the player profiles, why it matters, the system we're going to play, why it matters, and the formation we're going to play and why it matters. And I think then it comes down to you limit individual mistakes, and then you also can play in and out of possession differently. You can play in possession, getting the ball wide, in possession, getting the ball narrow, out of possession, you can tuck and be compact, out of possession, be a bit high press. So I think in the PowerPoint, I'm doing it. It'll take a bit of time, but I'm hoping to get it done sort of by next week minimum.
All right. And that is the coach's corner. Thank you, coach. All right. So what we've got here, let's turn the page. Let's look at the future. So got on screen here are two upcoming fixtures against Singapore, and then I think it's Lombartari. Butchered that brutally. But we got two teams there, right? But looking at the actual table as we scroll down, as the page loads, hopefully, Futera United sitting in third. We have and again, the results are we need to get first. First is promotion. Anything else, we're running it back. So really, it's first or nothing for us. Got a negative goal differential. Blue, when you look at this, it's not looking very positive. There was some math going on the Discord where it is possible if we have some timely. Obviously, we got to win our games. We need the boys at the top to take some L's and a tie. What are your thoughts? Where are your heads at, Blue, as you look at this table?
I look at it, the angrier I get.
Okay, well put. It'll be off screen soon.
It's not, mate. That goal difference is horrendous, and it's because okay, we might be doing an Arsenal win every game 1-0, but yeah, that goal difference is shameful. And to be honest, 7 points out of 4 games as well. That is absolutely shocking. So Yeah, it annoys me. It annoys me a lot when I look at that because it shows how disappointing this season has been with the players that we've got and how we haven't managed to push on. And I just think this league is a killer. It's an absolute killer. And fitness does seem to be an issue. And I don't know if it's because it's later on in the season. I mean, this season is not lined up with the start of the top, with, the Premier League of Thailand. We don't line our season up with that. Not that we have a choice of it. But therefore, all the players must be playing for various other seven-a-side team, whatever, before they even get to us. But basically, I just don't like anything about this league, and I think it's very, very detrimental to the club. I'm also disappointed that we just haven't kicked on. The players just haven't seemed ready for this season.
Well, Blue, not to like kind of rub salt in a wound here, but if you look at the season standings for our predictions as well, we all took goose eggs, and you, my friend, are also at the bottom here. So this is also not another table that you like to look at. For those that are,
Oh, it doesn't bother me, mate. It doesn't bother me.
it
Not
bothers me because
person.
Pooh didn't score. Come on.
I'm bothered about Futera. This is a nice little sideline for me, but yeah, I'll take the loss. Just at least this season we haven't fought with any forfeits, have we? So we'll leave it. It's all good.
Okay,
Don't
well,
worry about this. Next season, when George thinks of forfeits, then we'll worry about it.
okay, well, I will be showing this again to close out this pod because we do need to make our predictions
Oh, I bet you will.
as always. Uh, George, any comments about the fixtures or table?
I think it for me it just shows that we played the bottom two sides early, and that was when we were sort of the most hyped, and it was a bit like this we caught ourselves too late. And I keep harping on about it and harping on about it. But I think it's that thing of the thing that hurts me the most is the missed opportunity of there's not one player that I don't think should win this league. I think every player is good enough easily to walk this league and win it. And I think it worries me if players are going to look elsewhere to move on and move higher. So I think like we've got players that are undeniably very, very good. So I think it will be key to keep them and sort of progress. On the league, like are we in this league next year as well? Then like there's no, this is the only league we can be in.
Blue,
Yeah.
it's very unpredictable. We have no idea if the league will even exist next year, but right now, my understanding, Blue, is that is the plan. Unfortunately, it looks like we will be part of that plan. Any comments, Blue?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's always ways and means of moving up because of the way the Thai league works. They often lose clubs. Basically, clubs go bankrupt or can't sustain themselves. Clubs refuse to be promoted because they are university teams or don't want to put the money into it because of something like that. Perhaps they're a B team of a club. So there are lots of different ways of getting through, but ultimately, this league is starts then going into a champion round against all the other regions. So if you don't even make it to the champion round, then you've got an issue basically. Now, last season's winners went into the champions round and got absolutely smashed. So it's very difficult to tell what the level is of that. But we've been invited before and then had that invite basically revoked because of other teams not dropping out of the league. So sometimes you can basically get an invite to get a promotion without having the league position to have done so because they might need two teams out of our league.
And I will say that we got to give the club management credit. They do the paperwork, they spend the money, they're preparing for future
That's
stadiums,
true.
they're preparing for success. And I do tip my hat to that mentality. All right, so let's turn the page on
Well, this is
here.
one of the reasons why the club.
Go ahead, Blue, please.
I was just going to say it's one of the reasons why the club was so disappointed is because they put the groundwork in to be in T3 next year. They've got the stadium ready. They've got all the bits and pieces to move up next year. So if that doesn't happen, then all the work that Jews put in, as DEW do, um, is for nothing sort of thing. So it's very disappointing for the club as a whole. And that's where really the sort of, without, we don't really even want them to see this, to be honest, but it's the players are, it's not just us, it's the club that the players are letting down.
That's where I'm surprised there's no sort of it's like typical but club statement or something from the players to be like even Jude to put out a social media post or in a Discord to put, I'm really sorry, lads, I let the team down today, all the hard work, hold my hands up. And that's where it's like, although it's sometimes frowned upon, it's sort of like in this environment with our team of how the holders work and that sort of thing and how passionate we are, I sort of would have expected at a minimum for to see a statement, not from Mark, from someone else to say, you know what, we hold our hands up, we weren't good enough today, we've let you down, we're sorry, we're going to do X, Y, and Z moving forwards to help, sort of thing. That's where it's also a bit, 'cause it's like you can see the club work so hard behind the scenes. You can see that like they can do, and it's not them that have done it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's coach. It is an element of coaching, but it's not your backroom staff. It's not your secretaries. It's not your
Yeah,
the people that do all the work. The director of football. It's not this kind of thing
yeah,
that we're talking about. It's literally pitch work. The people that are touching
yeah.
grass.
All right. Well,
I mean,
And
that's where
we're proud of what George is saying is we're proud of those guys and the work that they're doing. We're literally just talking about people that are touching grass at this moment in time, to use a common social media phrase at the moment. Go ahead, Lance.
well,
Next segment.
this sounds like good gripes, right? And so this is everyone's favorite segment, along with Coach's Corner, our two most popular segments, Blue Balls. Blue, what do you have for us
Right,
this week? Take it away.
Blue balls this week is actually a positive blue balls rather than a negative blue balls, because I thought everything else was going to be negative. We need to do something positive. Eek was brilliant. Eek, of course, we lost. He's part defender, part midfielder, part attacker. But I thought he was fantastic working his way up and down at wing. Some fantastic overlaps. Couple that weren't used when they should have been. They went inside, they should have gone outside. When he did get the ball, he had a couple of fantastic crosses, which I really think getting to the byline, those low crosses inside, I think are our most profitable cross that we can use rather than keep having early crosses in over the top, because Ninja's not a big lad. He's a strong lad, but he's not a big lad. So, yeah, I thought he performed very well. I thought Mbappe's energy on the outside was really well. And yeah, there's some impressive performances there in amongst the mud and quagmire of what happened during the game. It's just difficult to pick them out because you had so many other unimpressive performances going on around them. So I mean, Kuhn and Tuit weren't too bad until Jew started to fall apart. You know, the team wasn't that bad, and then all of a sudden, everybody basically fell apart at the same time. And the forwards are watching the defenders fall over, and just completely drains all of their confidence and energy out of them. But on the outside, I thought we were very good. I thought we were very good at moving the ball inside outside. It's just when we look at the positives of what's there, as George said earlier, we got players there that we don't need to change. We just need to lay a blueprint for them to work upon. We've got the midfielders, we've got the wing backs, we've got the defenders. Hopefully Wynn comes back soon because he's a big lad. I think he'll help in his stature. We haven't quite worked out what to do with Ninja yet. Boo's fantastic. Aeon wasn't good, but I think it's difficult for him being a new player in the team to maybe make his stamp, to maybe shout at other players and be a bit more of a force in terms of his personality and putting his stamp in the game. But I'm actually quite positive in the team and what we've got to move forward with. It's literally a matter of tactics and working out how we can improve the team, improve the flow of the team. I think that there's certain things that we're doing at the moment we're sticking to that we don't need to. When we've got these fantastic players that can move with the ball, Eat can drive the ball up the pitch, Fu can drive the ball up the pitch, Mbappe can drive the ball up the pitch. So Aeon can drive the ball up the pitch. He's fantastic with the ball at his feet. We don't need to constantly be slowing the game down at the back. So yeah, for Blue Balls this week, it's about the positives of players that we've got in the team, and that it's not all negatives. It's just about putting those brilliant players in the right places and creating something that's a bit more of a whole rather than pieces or bits and pieces all over the place.
Well said. Well said. Thank you for this week's Blue Balls. All right. So we got on the screen right now the upcoming fixture. We're playing the Singbury Warriors. It's a must-win for the Fighting Susu. No doubts about it. We expect passion. Mark did a debrief in the manager's office. I challenge everyone to go watch the videos, ask him the tough questions. He does a fantastic job of answering him head on. I think it's incredibly brave and wears his heart on his sleeve. I really appreciate that. I know that we mentioned that earlier. So, who would like to do first prediction for this match up? And again, per the standings, you need to choose the score and then as well who will score for the Futera United, and you can choose nobody. Unfortunately, that is a option due to last result. Who's up first?
You can go first.
No, I appreciate that because that means I get to pick food. I'll take food and I'll take 3-1 Futera, please.
George.
So we're playing top of the league, yeah?
Yeah, I'll pull it back up. We are playing against Singbury, who is, if we look at the table, I believe they've got 10 points on 4 games, which would put us at the same, but it is loading right now. I'll go
I
first.
think they have played the top teams.
This is what they call in football a 6-pointer then, yeah? This is the big...
Yeah,
Pretty much, yeah.
That
We
was
can
supposed to
give
be
them
last
this
week, though,
loss.
too, right? Yeah, there we go. They are at
Yeah,
top
but
of the table.
if we can give them this loss, then we basically bunny hop them. Well, we won't do because of the goal difference. But if we can give them a loss,
Unless you win 8-0.
yeah, that's right. Which, mate, we've done 11-0, we've done 12-0, so it's not impossible. It's just that was when we were playing in the lower leagues. Go ahead, George. What's your predictions, mate?
It's such a tough one again because it's like how I want to see us and how I think we can play. Like I'm going 4-1, 4-0 sort of thing. Like just how we're playing at the moment, it's not a 2-1 loss. But I'm gonna go middle ground. I'm gonna go 2-2.
So I would say I think Simbury have also played Ancapi bottom of the league, and I think they played a couple of the middle of the league people as well. So they have drawn a game, which well, to have, yeah, they've drawn a game. So it's not as if
Yeah,
they're
drawn
playing
2-1.
amazingly when they're playing bottom of the league and still not getting amazing results. So it's not not doable.
George,
Lance,
who's
what's
your
your
goal
predictions,
scorer?
mate?
Who's George's
Oh,
goal
sorry.
scorer?
I'm gonna go Mbappe.
I think that's a good shout. I think it's a good shout. I thought about Eek, I did have a thought about Eek.
Yeah.
I'm in a prove it to me mode. I'm taking a 2-1 loss. My football teams continue to lose right now, up the Villa and Futera United, but this is an objective thing. I know nothing about football, but I didn't see any fight from the boys. I see fight from
On
leadership,
him.
but I didn't see any fight from them. So 2-1 loss. I do think Film is going to play out of his mind, though. He will not score.
Mate, see when you come to the UK in June, we're going to Wickham at you.
Listen, I don't even know what that means.
2-1 loss. You're not allowed to say that.
I can.
You're not allowed to say that, mate.
An objective American journalist. That is what I am. Okay. And I'm taking Pooh to score because every game I think he's going to score, and I love him, and he's my favorite player by far. Okay.
You're going 3-1 blue, yeah?
Yep.
I'm going 3-1 Foo, and
2-2.
he's going 2-1 loss and Foo.
Yep. I sure as hell hope I'm wrong. I actually do think I'm
Oh,
wrong.
those points. If you win, and if you do get those points, they're dirty points. They're going to taint you forever.
No, they won't.
You're
No, they won't.
You're going to feel greasy and horrible when you get those points in your account.
It's been
That
plans.
is true. That is true.
If we keep this formation and this system, that scoreline looks very, very likely.
Okay.
They play like I did last time, yeah. It's about a midfield dropping back and helping out at the moment. I think it's obvious to see that the defense is struggling. We need the midfield to really be there to help them out because at the moment, everything's so last ditch.
Do we know who Strawberry have?
They also have a game in hand as well.
Saraburi.
Yeah, who have they got? Do you know who they've got?
Do
No.
not.
We don't do
Do
it.
not. But can put that in the show notes for people joining. Okay, let's take us away here. We're at 50 minutes into this. Apologies, everyone, for the lengthy countdown, 2 of them. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but like the club, we're all learning, right? So, Blue, you took us away last time. Coach, put a bow on this for us. Actually, Blue, any final thoughts before we pass it to Coach to take it away for us?
I look forward to fixing this problem. This is when it gets interesting. When everything's going right, you keep everything the same and you just flow along. When things go wrong, it gives you a chance to get your hands dirty.
Well said. Well said. Coach, take us away. Close out episode 8
Just
of the Susu fan podcast for us.
the faith. We'll get there as a group. Hopefully, it creates more communication and bigger sort of development, and we'll be back stronger.
Well said. All right, boys. Thank you as always for joining. For the folks that hopped in the comments, we'll be here. Hit us on the Discord. That's where we'll all be at. Susu, up and to better things. Tough week, but great times are ahead.